here. We will now call this Eagle Pass Independent School District regular meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, August 9th. It is 5:34, and this meeting has been called to order. Mr. Mijares, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Mijares. Now we will go through roll call. We have Ms. Hilda P. Martinez, Vice President, present. Dr. Hector Alvarez, Secretary, present. Ms. Glenna Purcell, Trustee, present. Ms. Lupita Fuentes, Trustee, present. Mr. Christopher Hiller, Trustee, present. Mr. Victor E. Perry, he is absent. Mr. Samuel Mijares, Superintendent of Schools, is present. Mr. Richard Strieber, Attorney, is present. And myself, Jorge Barrera, present. Now we will move to Citizens Communications and Recognitions, and we do have 4 people that have signed up. First, we have Ms. Veronica Garcia with Watch Dogs DOGS. Ms. Garcia? There's fine. That fine? If you want to, I'm sorry, the podium, that one's on.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees. My name is Veronica Garcia. Please excuse my nerves. I've had the privilege of living in many towns and cities across Texas, as well as a brief stint in Syracuse, New York. But my roots are and always will be in Uvalde, Texas. That's my hometown. That's where I was born and where I grew up, living just a stone's throw away in Batesville, Texas. Instead of celebrating our 20-year reunion this summer, the class of Uvalde High School 2002 spent it in mourning with our fellow alumni. We spent it watching our classmates bury their children, their nieces, nephews, and cousins. We spent it at memorials in the center of town for 19 dead babies and 2 slain teachers. We will forever be in mourning for the 21 souls taken on May 24th, 2022. Being fully aware that you're unable to answer any of my questions, I'll ask rhetorically because these are questions that weigh heavy not only on my mind and heart, but on the mind of many EPISD parents. Will there be more police presence for our children and teacher safety? Has every lock on every door been checked? Not only the main doors, but all doors inside, outside, on every campus. Is the school district chief of police clear on his duties? Or if God forbid a tragedy like Rob occur in our community, is there a clear plan of action across the board with all agencies? With all that being said, will you please consider implementing Watchdogs program into EPISD schools? Watchdogs, DOGS stands for Dads of Great Students, is a family and community engagement educational initiative. There are 2 primary goals of Watchdog program: to provide positive male role models for the students, demonstrating their presence that education is important, and to provide an extra set of eyes and ears to enhance school security and reduce bullying. By taking time to come to campus and serve the students and teachers, fathers and father figures demonstrate that education is important. A male role model can positively impact a student's life in 3 critical areas: academic performance, self-esteem, and social behavior. We took part in this program at Ward Elementary in Clear Lake, Texas, and it was a great success. And every day that the Watchdogs were there, you could see a difference in the kids' attitude. After what unfolded at Robb Elementary, sadly, confidence in law enforcement has dwindled to an all-time low. So who better to act as extra security but the fathers of our wonderful students? As evidenced by the actions of the fathers of Robb, when law enforcement failed to protect their children, parents are ready and willing to give our lives for our children. I understand there are budgets, but this program will not make or break you with an expense of about $1,000. And if there's no funding for it, At least give us a chance to find sponsors to fund it. But really, can you put a price on a child's life? What are they worth to you? There are many, many children of law enforcement, Border Patrol, DPS that attend EPISD, and I can guarantee that they would be willing to stand in as extra security at their child's campus. Those who do volunteer are put through background checks to assure the safety of all students. As a daughter of both a member of law enforcement and a teacher, as a member of the Eagle Pass community, but most importantly as a mom, I'm begging you to please consider this program. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. And I have Ms. Maribel Garcia with TCTA.
Good evening, Mr. Mijares and school board members and all present. First of all, let me thank you all for allowing me to speak before you tonight. My name is Maribel Garcia Rodriguez, and I am a local TCTA president. TCTA is a Texas Classroom Association that represents Texas teachers and support staff. In EPISD, we are over 800 members strong. I come before you today to ask for consideration of possible action to approve resolution authorizing retention bonus for a full-time, part-time employees that the superintendent has recommended for a one-time retention bonus for exempt employees who remain employed with the district for the amount of $6,000 instead of $5,000, as well as a one-time retention bonus for non-exempt full-time, part-time employees for the amount of $3,000. I humbly request that you vote for the amount our superintendent is seeking. I feel that I have seen many of you a lot this summer. Mr. Mijares, obviously, always has an open door policy, and we meet numerous times when issues arise with our members. Thank you for having that open door policy. That's very helpful. To TCTA and anybody that comes to see you, it's not just us. We had a meeting of teachers with superintendent to voice our concerns, and a lot of that included the security and a lot of issues that teachers had recently with COVID and the tragedy that happened in Uvalde, and teachers had questions. And Mr. Mijares, you were gracious enough to hear us in that short group, in a short amount of time that we had to put it together. And you met with us and you answered all our questions. We then met during budget workshops that you also included us, that came about a well-deserved raise. Then we met for the safety committee meeting that you put together with local law enforcement and agency to discuss the safety plan. EPISD does have a safety plan already in place, yet you chose to enhance it and meet with all law enforcement to come up with a better plan to put our children's staff safety first. And most recently in our new teacher orientation, as all of you know, there is a national crisis of teacher shortage. And it's a tough job, and it gets tougher, and especially in lieu of what happened with our neighboring city. Eagle Pass has not been immune to that problem. Our members are constantly coming and voicing concerns for the tough year we have had since COVID and the changes that we've had to adapt. And my colleagues stepped up and we did what we had to be done to make EPISD the district, the amazing district it is. We love working for EPISD. You asked and we delivered. As if COVID was not enough, we're now faced with House Bill 4545, extra little bit more on our plate. And with the new security issues that hit so close to home, another plate that we must now come and look at our children and convey that it is safe to come back home because school is their home. And again, we will rise to that need that the district is asking of us teachers. Because EPISD staff is resilient and we rise above the meet and we meet the challenges as they come. All we ask is that you back us up and acknowledge the hard work and dedication of EPISD staff by approving this action suggested by Mr. Mijares. With that being said, thank you for choosing to go with the 5.5 raise. With today's economy, it will help so much, especially since most teachers spend a ridiculous amount of money in the beginning of the school year. Let's just say my husband's not going to see the next month's bill because I'm already over my budget. But I'm not the exception. All of our teachers have gone. My sister-in-law just came back. She just bought some stuff for Liberty. So the teachers go because we want to have our baby safe and because it is crucial. We did see the faces of our children when they came back after the tragedy in Uvalde. And our foremost point, our foremost objective is to make them feel safe. So I hope we do go with something like that. And like I said, when we met, that we do need law enforcement out there. We need to make them feel safe so they can put that in mind and we can focus at the task at hand and get them to learn. In which that is not going to come in unless they feel safe. And the teachers are willing to do above and beyond. They've invested in door stoppers, anything they can. We've researched on things, and the district has provided, and I know you all will be providing more for the teachers. So with that, as we prepare to start the new year, I ask you again to please vote with Mr. Mijares' recommendation. And again, so we can welcome our kids back home and they can feel nice and safe, and our staff as well. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. We now have Charlie Rosales.
Good afternoon, board members. You excuse me if I don't have any papers written today, but I am a working man that barely made it to this meeting today. I represent a large group of parents, which is growing day by day and month by month since the incident in Uvalde. And our main goal, as the rest of the people have spoken today, is the safety of the children. And even though I speak about the same kind of stuff, it's a little bit more into detail. We are aware and we are very happy with the actions you guys have been taking, what you could call reactive actions, and a few proactive. I thank Mr. Mijares for also the open door policy that he has that helped me a lot to get more informed and involved in this. The reason why the group that I have is growing bigger by the day is because we, to the moment, don't have too much info on what has been done, has been changed, and currently updated. What we all want to see as what you could call the ultimate goal is obviously to have would you be a full-time law enforcement agents in each elementary school. And I also understand, we understand that there's a budget and everything. But as we all probably know, one of the biggest problems is sometimes not budget, it's politics. It's politics within and without. Small circle and large circle, all the way from here to the president. But if we all cooperate, and if you all cooperate, a lot of stuff could be done a little bit more, what you call proactive. And we are happy with everything that's going on. I have been informed that there have been some exercises being done, some active shooter trainings and all that good stuff. And that is very, very, of course, what you could call proactive and reactive itself. But the group that I have will be watching for doors to be closed like they're supposed to, as we have already understood. They're supposed to be well closed with proper, different, more updated locks. We will be watching for whoever is on the clerk or secretary, whatever you guys call the front person, to not open the door unless it's sure, he or she is sure of the person not carrying anything. The reason why we go in more in detail is because we do appreciate everything that you guys are doing, but we do want for it to continue with that within all the year and to not dissipate with time, because we don't want this to be kind of what you could call the hot stuff right now and then dissipate with time. And that's when it could hit us. I want to ask all of you to please do not let history repeat itself on us. Don't let history catch on us. Don't get your guards down and say, okay, I think it will be all right, and then it happens on us. And our group, we try to keep it as positive as possible. We don't want no drama or conflict, but we are willing to withdraw our kids from physically attending school. And thankfully, being in the state of Texas, we can have option A and Bs when it comes to different types of internet schools. But we don't want to. None of us want to deprive our kids of actually going through the experience of physically going to school and socializing. So the biggest thing that we ask is to keep and to not only keep doing, but keep trying to make it better to the point where we're at, where we already know that we're not gonna fall asleep in the future. We're not gonna let it slide, and we're not gonna let history repeat itself in our city. That's all that I have to say for today. And like I said, thank you very much, and especially to Mr. Mijares, which he does have a open door policy that speaks a lot for himself. And I will be continuing to attend to these meetings as much as I can. If not, I'll bring one of my other members to come by. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk.
Thank you, Mr. Rosales. And yes, something very important. I think all of us have kids in school as well, so we will continue with trying to be safe and won't stop what we're doing at this point. So next up is Adriana Reyes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Adriana Reyes, and I'm the mother of 3 adult children that attended Eagle Pass School District, and now a grandmother of 6 grandchildren, 3 of whom will be starting this school year. I would like to start off by thanking all of the concerned parents that are in attendance today, as well as community leaders that are present. The unfortunate events that happened in Uvalde were a wake-up call, not only for our community, but for our entire nation. Today, I have come with a list of questions that we as parents would like to see answered in writing. But before I share those questions, I think we also need to propose solutions, not only questions. I was very pleased to see that the EPISD has added a See Something, Say Something reporting page to their website. I truly believe that this will make a big difference, knowing that in Uvalde, there were signs where the shooter shared his intentions of attacking a school before it even happened. We would like to see an actual plan for rolling out this system. Also, how will we include our community entities so that they will also include the reporting system on their websites, such as PD, mental health, the mental health department, and Fort Duncan Regional Medical Center. This should also be rolled out within our school districts so that all students, parents, teachers, and community members have knowledge that this exists and that we are all responsible for the safety of our schools and our communities. Also, we would like to know who will be in charge of reporting on this page, and are they knowledgeable in identifying viable threats to our school and to our community? And we would also, and will they also take the appropriate actions? I would like to invite the school board to create a committee that includes parents and to investigate what other school districts have in place regarding this system of reporting to make sure that it is truly impactful. I would also like the following questions addressed and answered from the school board. Number 1, are all PD and sheriff's officers being trained in active shooter scenarios? Number 2, has the school district safety plan been reevaluated and updated since the unfortunate events that happened in Uvalde? Number 3, will teachers and school staff complete this training? Number 4, and most importantly, is the chain of command crystal clear to all responding officers as to who will be making any and all decisions during an active shooter situation? I look forward to receiving answers to these questions and the next steps concerning school safety. I thank you all for your time.
First of all, I want to thank all the parents that spoke. As you know, our school board is composed of parents, grandparents. They have children in our schools, and this has been a priority even before Uvalde took place. We have added in the last 6 months, 4 or 6 months, even before even before the Uvalde incident happened, we added an additional 9 officers. So right now we have a total police officer force of 36 police officers. We are the highest active officers in locally. All the officers working at the same time. Also, somebody, and we're not supposed to answer questions, but I'm going to make general statements. That way, I'm going to take the time. That way, some of you get informed. We just had a simulation at Armando Serna, and the purpose of that simulation was that all the entities, we had a federal entities there, we had the city of Eagle Pass, we had the sheriff's department, and we have our own police force there. And the gist of that exercise was that we could coordinate a active shooter call and make sure that there's no confusion who's in charge. So we had that simulation that who was in charge and we timed everything, how much was our response. We had the EMS there also, and we make sure we evaluated that response because we don't want any confusion who's in charge in any situation. Also, that is very important that we want to be able to respond if this happens at Walmart. We have a police force of 36 officers that can aid the city of Eagle Pass, or if this happens at a county event. So that's why we're coordinating together, because together we're stronger. We just don't want to have, what happened. It was a monumental mishap of communication in Uvalde that nobody knew who was in charge. It was so simple. Another thing I want to answer, that I'm going to answer some questions here, that we're all dumbfounded. I mean, all our officers have active shooter training every year. So we don't understand what happened in Uvalde. The policy, the law is that you engage the shooter. You don't negotiate. You go straight from point A to point B and you get rid of the shooter. So that's something that our police officers know. They go and it's the yearly training that we have every single year. I have some of my police chief, my lieutenant, and some of the sergeants come and talk to me after the Uvalde incident. They couldn't understand why didn't they engage the shooter? So those are trainings that we have every year. Every year we train our staff. In fact, on Friday, we have a police officer that's designated to go to every single campus and give a live training to all the teachers. Also, we've had an audit already of all our locks. Mr. Salinas is the one that's in charge of school safety, and we did a complete audit of every single lock. All summer, we gave that as a priority to make sure that we have all locks working. Sometimes a teacher were calling us, a principal, say, you know what, can I have this in my room, or can you install a monitor in my room? And right now the priority has been the locks. We have deviated from all the other projects because we want to make sure once schools get started that we have a safe environment, because as it is, we have many challenges in the district. We have students that are behind in their learning, students that are Spanish speakers. We have students that are autistic. We have students that need a lot of help.
And on top of that, now we have the situation where students not feel safe. Students are supposed to feel safe at school. So it is another challenge, and we recognize that challenge. Also, and I'm glad the parent brought up this program, you know, that the Watchdogs program. We will evaluate the program. It looks like it is a good program, but we are looking at at that program and many programs. Right now, we're looking at having a police reserve. We can activate our police reserve where we hire additional police officers so they can keep their license, and at the same time, they can commit some time to patrol the schools and help us do that. We already have a plan how to patrol the schools, even with the police officers that we have right now. But that'll add extra personnel, and there will be volunteers because they are required to keep their license and have certain hours for them to keep their state license. So we're looking into doing that. We're also looking at an eat free. Uniform officers can eat free at our cafeterias. You know, that way we encourage police officers, border patrol, customs, ICE to go eat at our cafeterias, for them to become a place where officers are welcome and they have a presence in our schools. So we are evaluating all these situations, but you know, we always are here to hear the parents. If there's any other ideas, you are more than welcome to go to my office, you know, because if something works, we're willing to try it. So I want to thank all the parents. I want to thank Mr. Rosales, both Ms. Garcias, you know, and Ms. Reyes for talking to us this afternoon, and understand that we are here for the kids. Our kids are our business. That's what's most important in our community. Also, our staff, because our staff also are in danger, you know, if something like this happens. I heard that the teachers really try to protect their kids in Uvalde. Unfortunately, they also were did not make it. So I know our teachers care a lot about our students. They have a big heart. We have a hardworking staff, and thank you for everything that you guys mentioned today. Yes. Now, something that I forgot to mention is that we are working on mental health. We have hired LPCs that are working directly, don't do anything else but work with mental issues that our students have. And we will continue to augment that program and make it grow more, so that we can make sure that, because mental health has been, I think that needs to be in the forefront of situations like this. And unfortunately, Camino Real, MHMR, you know, they're inundated. They have a lot of cases. Sometimes they don't have the time, but we will be assisting in that sense, and so we can help our student with mental health, and also making sure that Mr. Salinas came up with that idea of doing that reporting on online. Rest assured that somebody is going to be in charge of that, and somebody will be monitoring that. Okay.
Law enforcement also looks at it too.
Yes, law enforcement also looks at it too. Oh, yes, and
We have representatives from the
yes, we also have representative from the hospital, Mr. Eladio Montalvo, and, you know, he's here. You know, we have a contract with the hospital. I want to thank Mr. Eladio for joining us today, and all the teachers, TSTA, TCTA, you know, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, parent.
Thank you to all the parents that spoke, and Ms. Garcias, thank you. Now we will move to district reports and presentations. We will take report on 2020 certified appraisal roll from Everett County Appraisal District. Number 2, report on the certification of the estimated 2021-2022 excess debt collections for the PASD interest and sinking fund. Number 3, review and discuss the 2022 voter approval tax rate worksheet. which I may say the tax rate will decrease from 1.14641 to 1.01112, which is approximately 13.529 pennies, which is almost an 11.8%. Number 4, financial report. Number 5, utility report. Number 6, tax collection report. And number 7, presentation of the 2022-2023 student parent handbook. Mr. Mijares?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you have the reports that we have every month. We're in the 11th month. We have one more month to go after July. Expenditures are well below the projected budget. We're still looking at having a surplus. If you look on page of your M&O, look on page on page 44, that's our M&O budget. Revenues, we're almost at 100%, and you see the expenditures, we're at 73%. So revenues and expenditures look pretty good. We should have a surplus, like I said, at the end of the fiscal year. The utilities continue to look even better. We're gonna have a reduction in the utilities, and we're looking at a reduction of about a little bit over 700,000, 708,970. That will more than pay the debt that we have to pay on the loan that we took to do the retrofitting. And on the tax report, it also looks good. We should be collecting at least a 99% collection rate for the total tax rate. I don't know if there are any other questions on the reports.
No, sir. Questions? No, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions on the student's handbook?
No.
Yes, the changes, Mr. Cox, any changes? I think everybody received this on the yellow.
Yes, and the changes there, every year TASB updates and from the legislators, and we include their updates in our student parent handbook. And one of the most significant changes is centered around the very first one on the first page, consent to instruction on the prevention of child abuse, family violence, dating violence, and sex trafficking. Used to, previously, it was just a sex education curriculum where parents could opt in. Because we don't opt out, we opt in. And now they've added that we have to secure parental permission whenever we teach these subjects of child abuse, family violence, dating violence, and sex trafficking 14 days prior to the lesson being taught. And so it gives parents the control of what their son or daughter will be taught, and they have the right to review the materials as necessary. And the SHAC did review and had input in that, and y'all did have input in that earlier. Also, another major one, there's stuff on compulsory attendance. They're additions. It's stuff that all the principals and administrators will be trained on, and this will be shared this week with them. The other very important one dealing with safety of our students is the dating violence. They've added that in accordance with the law, when the district receives a report of dating violence, a district official will immediately notify the parent of the alleged victim and the alleged perpetrator. And it gives 2 internet resources there for parents to make sure that they avail themselves of. So that will definitely be one of our important ones to look at. And the unassigned epinephrine auto-injectors, the EpiPens, that has been updated, and the district will have a supply of those, and trained personnel will be available to inject students with those devices if they see that they're going through anaphylaxis. And the unassigned prescription asthma medication or inhaler. Only the campus nurses and nursing personnel are given the right to administer that when they see that a child with asthma has an emergency need for that medication. Everything else is pretty routine, but those were the major ones that we wanted to address with the board.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cox. We will move now to number 6, action items. Number 1, consideration and possible action to approve a resolution authorizing retention bonuses for all full-time and part-time employees with benefits who remain employed with the district as per September 15, 2022. Mr. Mijares?
Yes, this is to approve the bonuses for all the employees, which includes teachers, professionals and paraprofessionals. It's going to be 6,000 for professionals and 3,000 for paraprofessionals.
Paraprofessionals, that includes minor training?
Yes, everybody.
That includes what? I'm sorry.
Manual training.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I so move.
There's a motion by trustee Fuentes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Martinez. Questions, comments? I think it is very well deserved. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Congratulations. Number 2, consider and take appropriate action on the request to approve final instructional material recommendations considered under Proclamation 2022 as examined and selected by the Technology and Instructional Materials Allotment Team.
Yes, this is this is something we bring every year. Mr. Camarillo's not here. I don't know if he brought Patrick. Just in case you have, Patrick, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Trustees, Superintendent Mijares. The item we have before you is what's called a proclamation. The State Board of Education will puts out what's called an adoption cycle. So periodically, they'll update the TEKS for a given subject area. And this year, they were looking at Proclamation 2022. So the year dictates the month and the year of when it'll be in place. So Proclamation 2022, which calls for health and physical education, TEKS K through 12 and materials to be in place by this year, this school year. So the State Board of Education will go ahead and form committees at the state level. They will vet the materials, and they will go ahead and put out what's called a state adopted list. So the IMA team is recommending that we adopt the Proclamation 2022 list of instructional materials approved by the state. This year, for some reason, they didn't approve any elementary materials. There's just what they're in discussions at the state level. So this represents only health education 6 through 8, Health 1, Health 2, and then one course in physical education. So it's left up to the district to go ahead and kind of select instructional materials to fill that need. As a part of that, in conjunction with Mr. Viedma, our Science and Social Studies Director and his team, after evaluating materials, the recommendation was to go ahead and go with the catch system solution, which there's a quote included in the packet. This is an updated solution to what is already in place and being used for PE in the district. The catch solution includes all the K through 8, and it guarantees 100% coverage for health materials and for PE, physical education materials, at this point. Any questions?
Questions? Do we have a motion?
So move.
A motion by trustee Hiller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Fuentes. There's no more questions. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3, consider and take appropriate action on the request to approve the 2022-2023 Student Code of Conduct Handbook, which we just heard.
Yes, we have Mr. Wheeler here, in case the board has any questions on the code of conduct.
Oh, my bad. Different one.
Hey, Mr. Wheeler, any changes?
No,
Any
no
highlights on
significant
any?
changes.
Okay.
Do we have any questions? Nope. Do we have a motion to approve the Student Code of Conduct Handbook?
I so move.
We have a motion by Trustee Purcell, second by Dr. Alvarez. Any questions? If not, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. We'll now move to number 4. Consider and take appropriate action on the request to elect 2 school board members, 1 member as a delegate to the Texas Association of School Boards, and the other member as an alternate. I'm gonna kind of volunteer Mr. Hitler because he likes it.
And Mr. Perry.
And because Barry's not here, we're
I think it's Mr. Perry and
Mr.
myself.
Perry
I'll accept
as
for-
alternate. So, do you accept?
Yes.
And really, Perry can't do anything because
I second that motion.
a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? You want to abstain? Motion passes. Now we will move to consent items. We will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all together. Would y'all like for me to read them, or you're good? Good. Any questions? If not, do we have a motion to approve consent items?
I so move to approve.
We have a motion by Ms. Fuentes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Trustee Hiller. Any questions? If not, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimous. We will now, the Board of Trustees of the Eagle Pass Independent School District will convene in closed session as authorized by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to deliberate upon the following matters. The board will hear the request to hire personnel to fill vacancies pursuant to TGC 551.074, and the board will hear the request to hire a professional employee to serve as instructional officer, subject to a possible future reassignment by the superintendent. Do I have a motion to convene in closed session?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. It is 6:17, and the board is in the Tuesday, August 9th, 2022, and the Board of Trustees is now in closed session, and no action will be taken in closed session. Thank you. Time, once again, 6:17. Yes, sir. Okay. The time is 6:37 PM and the date is Tuesday, August 9th, 2022, and the Board of Trustees of the Eagle Pass Independent School District is now in open session, and we will move to item number 9. Number 1, the board will hear the request to hire personnel to fill vacancies pursuant to TGC 551.074.
Mr. President, I move to approve the request to hire personnel to fill vacancies pursuant to TGC 551.074 as discussed in closed session.
We have a motion by trustee Martinez. Do we have a second?
Second.
By trustee Fuentes?
Yes.
Questions, comments? If not, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Congratulations to all the new hires. Number 2, consider and take appropriate action on the request to hire a professional employee to serve as an instructional officer subject to possible future reassignment by the superintendent.
Yes, Mr. President, I move to approve the request to hire Ms. Gloria Guerrero Rodriguez to serve as instructional officer, subject to possible future reassignment by the superintendent as discussed in closed session.
We have a motion by trustee Fuentes. Do we have a second? Second by trustee Hiller. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations. Now we will move to number 10, correspondence and information.
Yes, just a reminder, we sent you the information, the Tacit TASB Convention, September 23rd through the 25th in San Antonio. Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, let us know if you're interested in attending. Also, we have the Chamber of Commerce Luncheon, August 17th. It is going to be at 11:30. Let us know you need tickets. Mr. Rolando Salinas will be giving a presentation on school safety. That day, I have the superintendent's meeting in San Antonio, so I won't be attending the luncheon, but Mr. Salinas will take care of that school safety presentation. Also, a reminder, school safety online training must be completed by September 30th for the board members. And that's all I have.
Questions by anyone? If not, we'll move to the last one, adjournment. You have a motion?
So move.
You have a motion? Second. All in favor? All opposed? Just kidding. Meeting is adjourned. It is 6:40, Tuesday, August 9, and this meeting is adjourned.